Parsha Shelach is filled with so many tremendous ideas. And so once again, I have some wonderful thoughts to share with you for this week's Parsha. We begin with a thought from the Stipler, from Rav Yaakov Yisrael Kanievsky in his Sefer Birchas Peretz. At the beginning of the Parsha, Moshe Rabbeinu is told that those that are chosen as the Meraglim is Kulam Anashim Rashi B'nai Yisrael Hema. The people that were chosen were Kulam Anashim, they were men of stature, Rashi B'nai Yisrael Hema. They were the leaders of B'nai Yisrael. Perish Rashi, we're here on line 1. Rashi says, what does it mean, Kulam Anashim? They are all men, and I translate it as men of stature. Kol Anashim Shebamikra Lashon Chashivas. Anytime you see the word Anashim, it means they're important people. V'oso shak sherim hayu ad kan lashono. And at that moment, at the time that they were chosen, they were ksherim. They were men of stature. They were men of distinction. Ulakaman b'pasuk, but a little further on in the parsha, the Torah tells us, Vayelchu vayavo el Moshe. They went and they came back to Moshe. This is on their return trip. So it says Vayelchu, they went, Vayavo, and they came. So Rashi's bothered by that doesn't make sense. They went and they came. We know that already. So Perish Rashi Zal, Ma bi asan be'etzon ra, af halichasan be'etzon ra. Just like when they left the camp on their way to Eretz Yisrael, they had Eitz Hara, they had a negative plan ready to go. Af halichasan be'etz hara. Rather, when they came back with that plan, they had left with that plan as well. In other words, the plan of saying what they said was on their mind as they took leave of Klal Yisrael, of Moshe Rabbeinu and the Jews in the desert. And that obviously is from the Gemara in Maseches Sota. So of course the obvious question is, wait a minute, these two Rashis are contradictory. L'chora hadvarim sovim zeh zeh. Rashi said initially that they were ksherim, they were men of stature, men of distinction, and now we say when they came back, the same plan that they said when they came back, they had hatched it before they left. That's contradictory. Says the Stipler, I want to tell you, at the time that they were chosen, that Moshe Rabbeinu chose them as the ones that would go to Eretz Yisrael, ksherim hayu. They were good. They were men of stature. There was nothing wrong. V'haminu b'Hashem Yisbarach. And they had faith and they believed in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is why they were kosher. Ubameshech tiach Moshe Rabbeinu al pi Hashem sheyichnesu l'aretz v'sheyichbeshu shevamen. And they believed what Moshe Rabbeinu said based on what Hashem told them and the amunah that they had, that they would be able to destroy the nations that were in Eretz Yisrael and that they would ultimately be able to conquer and inherit the land. Miyad la'achar shenivcheru bo l'chlal gaiva. Now that they were chosen, immediately after they were chosen, their egos took over, and their gaiva, their haughtiness. V'nidba lahem shehem nivcharu lo betur shluchim ba'alma l'saper mashiyaru. They were chosen, they thought, not as investigators, as spies, as people to report back on seeing something. Ella betur dayanim uposkim, but they felt that they were judges, they were decisors. They were here to make a decision, not just to be a reporter, not just to say what they saw, but they were here to make an ultimate decision on behalf of the Jewish people. Lahachriya ulahachlit al ikar inim bias aretz im ze efshari im ze kedai. To decide whether or not, we should go here. Let's have a reconnaissance mission to determine whether or not it's a good idea to move to Eretz Yisrael. And they felt that they were the ones who had the authority to make that decision. That's what they thought, at least their egos thought, that they were appointed for. And that's what they had in their mind as they were chosen. When Moshe Rabbeinu chose them, he chose them to be spies. They were chosen and thought that, well, we're not going to be spies. We're going to decide whether this is a good move for us or not. That's what they thought. Obviously, that was not their mission. They were not chosen to make that decision because HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised them that already. That was already in the cards. They were only chosen to give a report on what does the land look like as we are coming into the land. What will we expect when we get there? They, with their gaiva, with their haughtiness, with their egos, said, no, our job is to determine whether or not we should go to Eretz Yisrael B'chlal. Even though that was already promised from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that it would be given to you and it would be yours. Their emunah became ruined, became destroyed. Because someone's ego, gaiva, haughtiness, can always change someone's emunah. Faith, belief, you have to be humble to believe. Person has gaiva, person is a haughty person, that will destroy one's emunah. And they thought the decision to go to Eretz Yisrael, to live in Eretz Yisrael, to ultimately move in Eretz Yisrael, they thought that was in their hands, and obviously they were mistaken. That's how we reconcile the two psukim of they were good as they were chosen, but when they left, they were already no good. How do you reconcile it? The Stipler told us how to do that. When Moshe Rabbeinu chooses these men, so the one chosen from Shevet Ephraim was Yehoshua bin Nun. And the Torah tells us, Vayikra Moshe laHoshea bin Nun Yehoshua. So one of the questions that all the Mefarshim ask is, what's going on here? Nobody else is called bin Nun. It's usually Ben. Where does the word bin come from? Vayikra Moshe laHoshea bin Nun Yehoshua. So the Tosefes Bracha, same person as the Torah Tmima, Rav Baruch Halevi Epstein, in this sefer called Tosefes Bracha, his sefer on Chumash, he says, Yesh laha'ir, I have to point out, Ki b'chol ha'torah b'chol ha'mikra kulo menukad habeis min shem ben b'shalosh nekudos. Throughout all of Tanakh, when we have the word son of, ben, there's a segol, the 3 dots underneath the bays. That's ben. Levad b'chol makom sheniskar Hashem Yehoshua, aside, except in the place where we find Yehoshua's name, where it's Ben Nun, the son of Nun, Menukad HaBeis B'Nakuda Achas, B'chirik. The Beis has 1 dot under it, which is known as a Chirik E, and that's why he's known as Yehoshua bin Nun. Kimokan, as we see here in this pasuk here in Sefer Bamidbar and Parsha Shelach, u'b'chol Torah b'chol Mikra, in all of Tanakh, in all of Scripture, wherever you see Yoshua is Yoshua bin Nun. There has to be a reason to it. This is not just happenstance. V'amnam, however, says Rav Epstein, nimtza od nakud kazeh pamachas b'shem bin. We find in one other instance in Tanakh the word bin, Vahu b'mishlei divrei ogur bin Yaakov. in Mishlei Perek Lamed Pasuk Aleph. It's the words of Argur ben Yaakov. Sham menukad habeis bechira. Achein. There it also is been. Achein. Sham amdu chazal al zeh b'medrash. V'darshu al derech drush agadi. The Chazal have darshaned it based on agadic, homiletically. V'hu b'medrash rabba parsha v'era parsha vav v'darash kezeh ein lo kol shaychos l'shem bin kan. And there, in that medrash, it's really not connected here. Chazal lo amdu kan al zeh, lo hir v'lo darshur v'gam ha'mefarshim over lo zeh, kemo mebli masim v'zeh pele gadol. He says, and you don't find in Chazal and Tanakh that they're really, really discussing why Yoshua is known as Yoshua bin Nun and not Ben Nun. Again, one time in Mishlei, but there they talk about it somewhere else. That pasuk in Mishlei, not connected here at all. What's going on here in Parshas Shelach Lecha? The Efshalah Haspir Zel Piyam Avur b'Sanhedrin. Maybe we could say, based on the Gemara in Sanhedrin, v'chein b'Medrashim, the Yud, famous medrash, the Yud Hanital Mishem Sarai Achar Shinu Hashem L'Sora Hayatoin Al Akiraso Me'atorah Akshaba Moshe V'Hosef Yud L'Shem Hoshea V'Nishtana L'Mo Yehoshua. Our mother Sarah, original name was Sarai. So the Gemara tells us, the Medrashim tell us that the name Sarai lost the Yud from the name Sarai was taken away. And that Yud, that letter Yud, was upset, taken out of our mother's name and just hanging around, so to speak. So the Gemara says, until Moshe Rabbeinu came, and he took that Yud that was removed from Sarai's name, and he attached it to the name of his student Hoshea bin Nun, and now it becomes Yehoshua bin Nun. The Yud has been transferred, so to speak, or replaced from Sarai's name to Yehoshua's name. It is now, where did the Yud go that was removed from Sarai's name? It was placed in front of Hoshea's name to make Yeshua. He says, but we still have a problem, says the Tosefes Bracha. Well, we see that the Yud now found the proper place. It was hanging around doing nothing since it was taken away from Sarai, but now there's still something missing. Because now there's a Yud in front of Hoshea, but the Yud that was after Sarai's name, there were no Nakudos under Sarai. Shin or Sin, Reish, Yud, but there are no Nakudos under the Yud. So now you take the Yud and you put it in front of Yehoshua's name, but where are you going to get the 3 Nakudos for Ben? Ki ha-Yud b'shem Sarai yovo below nikud klal. Again, there are no Yud, there are no Nakudos under the Yud of Sarai. V'ha-Yud b'shem Yehoshua ba menukad b'shva. You need a Shva, Yehoshua, you need 2 Nakudos for the Shva underneath the Yud of Yehoshua. And we know that there's nothing arbitrary in the Torah, there's nothing coincidental, and everything is very exacting. Oh, lo pachos v'lo yoser. Where are we going to find 2 Nakudos for the Yud for Yehoshua, the Shva, which goes under the Yud? So what happened? We went to the middle of Yehoshua's name, and it's Yehoshua bin Nun, and we're going to take 2 of the Nakudos away from the word Ben. Remember, the Ben has a segol, that's 3 dots. And we're going to take 2 of them and put them in front of Yehoshua for the Shva, the 2 dots. So we're left with 1 more Nakuda underneath the Ben, but now it's pronounced Bin. Okay, so again, L'chein kamatz oso min habeis shebemilas ben. He took them from the bays under the word ben. V'tachas hasegal kav achirik. So under the segel, instead of the segel, there's now a chirik. Instead of it being ben, it's bin. Nishar bin b'chirik. Said, even though that sounds very strange, it's not something that you would normally say, take 2 dots and now have 1 dot and 2 dots from 3 dots. Because since nobody talks about it, we don't find any of the Gemaras, the Midrashim talk about the bin nun, we have to understand. That's how the Tosefos Bracha wants to understand the name Yehoshua bin Nun. Now, on the same vein, not talking about the bin and the ben, but talking about Sarai and Sarah and Yoshua, listen to what Rav Alpert says. Such a phenomenal idea and so relevant in our time. Vayikra Moshe Hoshea bin Nun Yehoshua. Visa b'medrash Hashem natalas hayud shel Sarai. Hashem took the yud from Sarai. Vosifu laHoshea v'nasa shmo Yoshua. And now it became Yeshua. The same medrash, the Tosefos Bracha said Moshe. Here it says the Ribbon Shalom did it, but it's the same idea. The Yud from Sarai now precedes the name of Hosea and makes it Yoshua. Listen to this from Rav Alpert. There is a tremendous connection between Sarah Imenu, Sarai turning into Sarah, and Hosea turning into Yoshua. Those 2 people have a very common bond. What is it? It would have been impossible for Yehoshua to be the leader of Klal Yisrael, to lead the Jewish people into Eretz Yisrael, and to fight the Malachim, and to conquer the land of Eretz Yisrael, which was Yoshua's task. After Moshe died, Yoshua leads them in and he conquers the land and they settle the land. It would have been impossible for Yoshua to do that. Unless he was able to adapt and inculcate and to have the hashkafas, the outlook of Sarah. Sarah had something, had an idea, had a thought, had tremendous insight into something, and Yoshua had to have the exact same idea. Shal Sarah, below Shal Avram Avinu. And it dafka had to be Sarah Imenu and not Avram Avinu. Listen to what Rav Alpert says. Sarah Imenu. Hevias data bebehirus chad mashmosh Eretz Yisrael shalanahi. Sarah Imenu knew that the land of Eretz Yisrael was unequivocally and 100% ours, not to share it with anyone. Ve'ein l'shum ish acher or am acher chelek ba. Eretz Yisrael is 100% totally ours, belongs to Klal Yisrael. The Darsha B'tkifus me Avram Avinu. And she was very adamant and strong in that concept when she told Avram Avinu, quote, here, Garesh es ben ha'ama hazos. You have to throw out Yishmael. Garesh, remember, it's Avram's son, Avram's flesh and blood. And she says to Avram Avinu, no, Garesh es ben ha'ama hazos. You have to throw him out of our house. Why? Kilo yirash im bini im Yitzchak. Because they cannot share. The land of Eretz Yisrael, the Yerusha of Avram Avinu is Eretz Yisrael, and it can't be shared between Yishmael and Yitzchak. It's got to be solely and 100% undeniably only Yitzchak's, not Yishmael's as well. Can't be shared. Ainly Yishmael v'yotzei chalatz of chelek ba'aretz. Yishmael or his descendants can't have a chelek ba'aretz. Lo b'mizrach Eretz Yisrael, not in the eastern part of Eretz Yisrael, which we'll either call the West Bank or other areas in the eastern part, or in the western area of Eretz Yisrael. And Yoshua ben Nun, who was the one who was chosen by the Ribbono Shel Olam to be the leader of Bnei Yisrael, to conquer the land, to lead them into the land, and to ultimately establish Eretz Yisrael as our homeland, Nishtana Shmo Hoshea LaYoshua. His name was changed from Hoshea to Yoshua, Kadesh Lo Yasiach Dato Mitzviyas Sari Imenu, that he will never ever forget that concept, that idea, that important principle of Sari Imenu, Goreshis Ben Hamazos. Throw out Yishmael from our home, from this home. She said to Avraham Avinu, Kilo Yirashim B'niyim B'Yitzchak, because they're not going to share. They're not going to get the same portion. The inheritance of Yitzchak is never, ever going to be the same inheritance of Yishmael. Hashem Hiskin L'Tviyas Sarah. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu agreed 100% to what Sarah told Avraham Avinu. Kol asher tomar elecha Sarah shma b'kolo. Whatever Sarah says, you have to listen to her. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avraham Avinu. Listen to Sarah. She knows what she's talking about. Whatever Sarah says, shma b'kola. V'ka'az kain hayom hava nischazek be'emunah Sarah imenu. Today, in the 21st century, we have to be mischazek in the emunah of Sarah imenu. Eretz Yisrael kula b'shleimusa shalanui. It is completely 100% ours. Talking about annexation, talking about this, talking about that. Sarah Imenu says we don't share. We can share because they're not going to share. And whatever Sarah said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Sarah's right. Eretz Yisrael kula b'shleimusa shalanui ve'en liyotzei chalatzav shal Yishmael chelek ba. And the descendants of Yishmael don't have a chelek, don't have a portion, don't have one iota interest in Eretz Yisrael. Im chafetz banu Hashem ein lanu lira mitmos olam. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu is on our side, we don't have to be worried for anything else. And that is the connection between Yoshua and Sarah. Sarah is the one who told Avraham Avinu, Eretz Yisrael is only for Yitzchak, and that's why Yoshua got the Yud from Sarah Imenu. What a powerful, magnificent thought from Rav Nissen Alpert. So then the Meraglim go out, they come back, they bring back a bad report. The Torah says, Vatisa kol ha'eda vayitnu es kolam vayivku ha'am balaylahu. The people raised their voices, they cried on that night. So Rav Schwab in Me'in Beis HaShoeva, Sefer on Chumash, again, says such a tremendous insight into what's going on here. He quotes the Gemara in Sanhedrin. Gemara in Sanhedrin says, Amar Rabba Rav Yochanan oso halayla leil Tisha B'Av haya. That night, that Klal Yisrael cried when the Meraglim came back and told them the report was Tisha B'Av. Amar Lam HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, famous Gemara, Amar Lam HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Klal Yisrael, Atem b'chisem b'chiyah shalpina. You cried for nothing on this night. This Tisha B'Av in the desert, you cried from a false report. There was no reason to actually cry because the Meraglim were lying. Va'ani ekva lahem b'chiyah l'doros. But trust me, says the Ribbono Shel Olam, this night of Tisha B'Av will be a night that you will be given a reason to cry. This year you're crying for nothing. But in the future, Rachmana Litzlan, you're going to cry for a reason on the night of Tisha B'Av. V'hainu, shaba'onesh chet hameraglim nechrevu mikdash rishon v'sheni. Because as a result of this, which we'll see in a minute, the first and second Beis HaMikdash, Batei Mikdashos were destroyed both on Tisha B'Av. Says Rav Schwab, V'inei, Megillas Eicha, HaMekonenes al HaChurban, Megillas Eicha that we read the night of Tisha B'Av, which is the Megillah discussing the Churban written by Yirmiyahu HaNavi, Moragam al Techunas V'Sibas HaChurban. Not only tells us exactly what happened, but it talks about why it happened. Ukamavur, as the Gemara there in Sanhedrin explains and delineates. For example, Amar Rabba, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, B'shvil ma hikdim pei la'ayin. If you look in Eicha, you'll see that the paragraphs, with one exception, are alphabetical. But you'll notice that, and here Rav Schwab explains, Perish, Sheba Aleph Beis Kama De'echa, Kara Da'ayin Kodam L'Kra De'Pei. He says that if you look, first chapter of Eicha, you will see that in one instance, the letters are out of order. The Pei, which in Gematria is 80, comes before the Ayin, which is 70. So the Gemara asks the question, B'shvil ma hikdim pei la'ayin. Why is the Pei come before the Ayin? And we know that under normal circumstances, the Ayin comes before the Pei. How come it switched around? B'shvil meraglim, so the Gemara answers, B'shvil meraglim sha'amru b'fihem mashalorav einehem. Gemara answers, you know why? Do you know why the Pei comes before the Ayin? B'shvil meraglim sha'amru b'fihem mashalorav einehem. Because what they said from their mouths, what their eyes did not see. Their eyes did not see certain things, but their mouths said it anyway. They put the peh, before their ayin, before their eyes. They said things that they didn't see. They made up things. Hikdimu peh la'ayin. The mouth came before the eye. Ad kan. That's the Gemara in Sanhedrin. Says Rav Schwab. If you take this Gemara literally, it says that they must have made up things. They said lies. Their eyes, their mouth said things they didn't see. And so you would say, well, they should have kept their mouth shut. They shouldn't have said things if they didn't see it. You don't see something, don't say anything, right? Vulam ze'eno. But that's not exactly true. The land that we just traversed, it's a land that devours its inhabitants, and the people that we saw were giants, Anshe Midos. And we saw these humongous people. Chazal tell us that they weren't lying. They saw many funerals. Chazal tell us they saw that for the reason that HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want them to be noticed. He wanted everybody to be distracting. So he made funerals so they would be involved with the funerals. But the Jews, the Meraglim should be inconspicuous. And he saw these great people. So everything they said was true. They saw these giants and the Amalek in the Knani, and they were strong people. So what do you mean that their mouth said what their eyes didn't see? They actually saw this. How do you understand the Gemara? Hine, Chushay ha'adam koltim dvar me'olam amuchash kefi techunas v'negias balachush. A person's senses can see certain things, what they want to see. What does that mean? Here we go. Two people could look at the same thing and see different things. We could both be looking at one item, and you see one thing and I see something else. And we see that in the Torah. For example, the dugma, Boletes lazeh. There's a very, very stark example of that in Matisa b'Medrash. The Medrash says when Avram Avinu took Yitzchak up to the Akedah, before they are ascending the mountain, the Torah says, "Vayaras hamakom merachok," and they saw the place from afar. Ma ra'ah, what did they see? Ra'anon kasher alahar. They saw this cloud that enveloped the mountain. Avraham and Yitzchak saw this mountain, Har Moriah. They saw the cloud, the kedusha, the holiness of this mountain. Amar, that Avraham said, that must be the place that God told me to go, to take my son there. Amar le Yitzchak b'ni. He said, Yitzchak, my son, roa es mashani roa. Do you see the cloud up on the mountain? Amar lo, hein. Yitzchak said, yeah, I see the cloud up there. Amar l'shnei arav. Avraham Avinu turns to the two attendants that were with him, and Chazal say it was Eliezer and Yishmael. They're walking together with Avraham and Yitzchak up towards the Akedah. Roa matem ashani roa. Do you guys see what we see? Amru lo la. They said no. Omar hoil v'chamor ein roa v'atem ein atem roim shvu lachem po machamor. Since you don't see it, and the Chamor doesn't see it, so you stay here with the Chamor, and Yitzchak and I will go up to the mountain. Two people looking at the same thing, actually four people in this case, but we have people looking at the same site. They see an Anon Kasher al Har, and they see nothing. Ad kan lashon hamedrash. Nimsa shemasheroim tolui b'bal chusharos. Depends on your senses, and not only your senses, but your sensitivity to see something. Shekishemestaklen be'einayim ruchnios va'adinos kishal Yitzchak Avinu roam hofaos shal kedusha v'asheros ashchina. If you're tuned to the right frequency, so to speak, you can see certain dimension, you can see the ruchnias, you could see the spirituality, you could see the anan kasher alahar. But but if you're looking without the sensitivity, with the physicality that you are part of, then you see like the Chamor sees. Two people could look at the same thing, but what are you looking at? The Zeh HaYachet HaMaraglan. Says Rav Schwab, now you hit the nail on the head. That was the Chet of the Maraglan. She'estaklu Eretz Yisrael al Eretz HaKadosha be'enei Chomer. They came to Eretz Yisrael. What did they see in Eretz Yisrael? Did they see Chevron? Did they see Yerushalayim? Did they see Tzfas? Did they see the Kedusha that's emanating from this unbelievably spiritual place? Or did they see pizza shops and shawarma places? They looked with the sight of physicality. They would have worn the proper glasses, the glasses of Kedusha, the glasses of eternity, the glasses of spirituality. They would have put on those pair of spectacles, those pair of glasses, then they would have seemed different than what they actually saw. When they got to Chevron, they would have seen the Kedusha that emanates from the Maras HaMachpelah, where those that are buried there, the Avos and the Imahos in Chevron. And in wherever nook and cranny they would go, they would see the Kedusha that the Avos had implanted in this land. If that's what they would have seen, if they would have gone on a reconnaissance mission that similar to what we said before, but was a positive mission, a mission for Kedusha, a mission for spirituality, so then lo mesimim levachayim, they wouldn't have swayed the opinion of their brothers when they came back to talk to them. Ela hayisholchem bahemes havara l'slayv litbam b'chibas hakodesh atshir kulam onim va'omim nal alo nala. If they would have come back with that message, everybody would have been saying, let's go, this is the place for us. But unfortunately, that's not what happened here on line 62. They came back, they only wanted to talk about the Gashmias of the land, again, the pizza shops and the restaurants, and where the good spas are and the nice beaches. If that's what you're interested in, then that's all they saw. They didn't see the true reality of what the land is. Their mouths spoke before what their eyes saw. Their physical mouth spoke before their spiritual eyes saw what they saw. Kolomar, in other words, Safru Odos Hagashmiya Sharo. They talked all about the Gashmias that they saw. Sharo Hargoda V'lo Ashras Hashchina. They saw a mountain. They didn't see that's the mountain of the Shechina. V'amar B'fiyam, and they said with their mouths, Eres Ocheres Ochelas Yoshvehi. It's a land which devours its inhabitants. Without seeing the giants that live there, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, they just saw the negativity of what the land could provide within the Gashmias realm. L'chein, says Rav Schwab in conclusion here, Nikva hakdamas pela ayin Megillas Eicha makonenas al bechia ladoros. That's why in Megillas Eicha, where we go alphabetically, the pei comes before the ayin, which discusses the reason that we're crying in the first place. Ki ekdima zu haisa sibas achurban. This concept of the pei before the ayin is unfortunately the reason for the Churban. Shekishahayu Yisrael Shuyim Alad Masan Tafsu Oso Beinei Basar Ve'einayim Chumrios Ve'alimu Einam Liestakel HaKadushas Haaretz. Because ultimately, even Klal Yisrael, when they lived in Eretz Yisrael and they had a Beis HaMikdash, was the Ruchnius the most important thing, or was the Gashmius the most important thing? What ultimately caused the Churban? If they were totally involved in their ruchnius and their spiritual growth, who knows, maybe there wouldn't have been a churban. But since that wasn't their pursuit, they're living in the land and they're going after, in the first Beis HaMikdash, Avodah Zarah, Gila Arai, Shvichas Damin, whatever Averos they did, their eyes didn't see what their mouth said. L'chein be'emes lo hirgishu hakdosha. They didn't feel and they weren't able to really understand what the Kedusha of Eretz Yisrael is. And if they would have seen Eretz Yisrael in its true light, the light of the land, Anan Kasher al Hahar, there's a spirituality which encompasses this land, Lo hayu chotem, they wouldn't have been sinning. Shimshon Raphael Hirsch has an extremely phenomenal thought, in my opinion, on a pasuk here in Parsha Shelach Lecha. After HaKadosh Baruch Hu punishes Klal Yisrael, and he tells them that they're going to have to stay in the Midbar for 40 years, he says, Uvenechem you roim b'midbar arbam shana, and your children shall wander in the desert for 40 years. The nasu is zenusechem, and they will bear your defections at tom pigrechem b'midbar, until the last of your corpses fall in the wilderness. Rav Hirsch is bothered by this word, b'nechem you roim. They're going to wander. So Rav Hirsch, as he does often, looks at a word etymologically in order to show us why they're using a certain word. Ubenechem Yuroim, inasmuch as the fate that is to befall the children is designated by the term ra'ah, ro'im, or ro'eh, really, being shepherded, tended, it expresses that at the same time this wandering is to bring them maintenance and thriving. Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to let us stay in the desert, but he's not going to abandon us. He's not going to let us just stay here on our own. He's going to take care of us. Nasu Ezenuseichen. Here we have a living commentary on Pankei Avon Avos Albanim. In the unavoidable consequence, according to the natural course of things, the children will be affected by the fate which these parents had earned. Children were not the ones who were crying the night of Tisha B'Av. It was the parents. But but they're stuck anyway because they're the children of these parents. But at the same time, the suffering of the children with the parents bring the children unending well-being and salvation. Why? For just as 40-year wandering was the university for the Jewish nation for becoming penetrated with the spirit of Torah and an immutable trust in God, which was to and is to reach its full maturity only after centuries. For the children to be implicated in the suffering, the sin in its relation to God is regarded as an apostasy, as it was just the altered attitude towards God which brought about the fate under which the children had to suffer. For the parents themselves, the real Delinguts, the sin is regarded objectively as avon, a divergence from the straight path. But in both cases, the plural form is used. Zenosechem, avonosechem, your defections, your divergencies. The fate which is now falling is the fruit of the whole series of sins and divergencies which they had been guilty. The parents were guilty. It's their sin. But the children are going to spend 40 years becoming Klal Yisrael, learning Torah from Moshe Rabbeinu, having someone who's going to shepherd you, tend you, and it's going to lead them into the land of Israel. That's why the Torah uses that word. And finally, the last offering for this week comes from the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, really quoting a medrash, but he's answering a very interesting question. The Parsha Shelach ends this week with the Parshas HaTzitzis, the paragraph that we say twice a day, some people 3 times a day, of Tzitzis, the third paragraph of Shema. It's interesting that the Parsha of Shema begins with the word Vayomer. Now, under normal circumstances, as you'll see the Or HaChaim HaKadosh is going to point out, that when a mitzvah is given, under most circumstances, if not all circumstances, the Torah uses the stronger word, so to speak, of Vayadaber. Vayadaber Hashem al Moshe Lemor, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the mitzvah. Here he uses the more softer term, so to speak, of Vayomer, and he said. So our Or HaChaim HaKadosh is bothered by that, and he brings a medrash to try to answer up why. Take a look at this. Fascinating medrash. Vayomer Hashem al Moshe. Tam shinui parsha zu she'amar Vayomer, ma she'ein kein b'chol Torah. Why here in this parsha where a mitzvah is given, do we have the word Vayomer as opposed to where the rest of the Torah will say the word Vayadaber? Shebekulan hu omer Vayadaber, yispar al pi ma'amar mzal. It's based on the following medrash. What section what story did the Torah tell us about immediately preceding the Parshas HaTzitzis? It's the Parsha of the Makoshesh. The Makoshesh, the man who was Machal Shabbos in the desert. The Gemara in Shabbos, and those who are learning Daf Yomi just had it a couple of days ago. What was the sin of the Makoshesh? Did he gather wood? Did he chop wood? Did he put it? All the Gemara there discusses what his Avera was. But he was a Machal Shabbos. So what's the connection between the Makoshesh and the Parsha of Tzitzis? The Torah put these two together for a reason. So the Medrash tells us why. Sha'amru kishara Moshe masa Makoshesh. When Moshe Rabbeinu saw what the Makoshesh did, Omar Lifnei Hashem, he went to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Moshe Rabbeinu said, B'me'achol, during the weekdays, Lovshim Yisrael Tefillin, the Zorchin HaMitzvos. When Klal Yisrael, on Shabbos, during the week, so they wear tefillin, and when they're wearing their tefillin, so they're ostensibly not going to sin, right? You have your tefillin on your arm, tefillin on your head, so you remember, it's an oath. You're going to remember HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak. The Zorchim HaMitzvos, the Yom HaShabbos B'mei Yizkuru, but Shabbos, we don't wear tefillin. So how are they going to remember? How are they going to recognize and remember and realize that it's Shabbos? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I'm going to give you a mitzvah which will also apply on Shabbos. That's the mitzvah. You'll see the tzitzis and you'll remember that it's Shabbos. Ad kan. That's the medrash. L'zeh amar vayomer. And that is why he used the term vayomer, perish amira hamisa Misaedes as halev muvkasho. It satisfies the heart in its simplicity and its idea. Because I'm giving you such a beautiful mitzvah, I'm not going to give it with the strong word of vayadaber, but vayomer. It satiates us. Daber v'yamarta letzad sheyesh b'zechiv mitzvah v'gam yesh mala v'chavod hanimshach mimeno. Because there's a mitzvah here, it says daber b'nei Yisrael v'amar. Afterwards, we have the vayadaber and the v'amarta. So it shows us the duality of this mitzvah. There's a chiyuv to do it, but it's a mitzvah that is so encompassing and so beautiful. The mitzvah of tzitzis. That's why the Torah uses both terms. Such a phenomenal idea from the Orach Chaim HaKadosh.